I'm from a grimy era, let's talk about it. Gotta keep a pole, can't walk without it. Did some things in the streets, but I won't talk about it. Seen some things in the streets, but I won't talk about it. I'm from a hood that's thorough, they don't play here. And they don't play on these blocks, it ain't a daycare. A new kid gets shot every day here. I guess that's why my heart colder than the rain there. Now Harlem is well known for being flashy and getting money. Now even though people may be flashy in Harlem, don't take that as thinking things are sweet out there, because it's the ghetto just like any other hood. It's a place where crack was being sold heavy in the 80s, and people like AZ, Rich Porter, and Al Poe hustled in, just like it was showed in the Paid in Full movie. And you even had crews like the Lynch Mob. And in the 90s, you even had crews like NFL. So don't get nothing twisted about Harlem. It's a place where people sold drugs, did crimes, extortion, shootings, anything you could think of. But in this video, we gonna speak on some people that did get some success out of Harlem and had a chance to make it to the top, but ended up fighting amongst each other because, you know, even though you cool with people, you're not gonna see eye to eye all the time. Havoc up in Harlem.
There's been a major gang roundup by the NYPD.
All kinds of takedowns all over town. Let's go to Lisa Evers. She's got a tip about this almost before it happened, or even before it happened. Lisa, what's happening?
Well, Greg and Rosanna, we're here in Harlem at the scene of one of the biggest NYPD gang takedowns ever. It started very early this morning here at the Manhattanville houses and also a couple blocks away at the Grant houses. Let me show you some of the video that we captured here as police were taking out what they are telling us are some of the most dangerous gang members in the city. One of the suspects was from what's called the Stack 3 gang, and as he was led in handcuffs into the police van, he yelled out, "Happy Stack Day," still defiant. We're also hearing from sources that one of the suspects who was picked up might have been connected with the murder of that high school aspiring female high school basketball player a couple of years ago, the one who had won a Division I scholarship and was on her way to a female basketball star career.
Now, after MaxB signed to Jim Jones and Bird Gang and generated some success, MaxB will be arrested not too long after. Now, in 2006, MaxB, along with his stepbrother Calvin Lanham and ex-girlfriend Gina Conway, was arrested for a botched robbery that left one man dead. Now, supposedly after Gina Conway told MaxB about two men she met from Florida who was staying at a Holiday Inn hotel in New Jersey who had a bag containing about $30,000 in cash, MaxB would send his brother to the hotel room to ambush the two. Now, supposedly MaxB's stepbrother and ex-girlfriend would go to the target hotel room in the Holiday Inn, and MaxB ex would try to use the key that he gave her earlier that day, but it didn't work, so they had to knock on the door. Now, a woman who was with the intended target would answer the hotel door and tell the two that the target would sleep, but MaxB ex and his stepbrother would still force their way in the room. Now, once they got in the room, they would tie up the intended target and the woman that was with him in the room. Now, the target would let them know that the money's in another room with his friend, so MaxB's stepbrother made him call his friend to come to the room. Now, as the target friend got to the room, MaxB's stepbrother will put the gun to his head. The friend will reach for the gun and ended up getting shot point blank in his head. Now, the man that would be killed would be David Taylor. Now, this obviously was a botched robbery, and MaxB and his crew never got the $30,000. Now, MaxB, his ex-girlfriend, and stepbrother will all three be arrested for this murder and robbery, but his ex-girlfriend will cooperate and tell the court that MaxB was the mastermind behind this whole robbery in return for only 15 years in prison. Now, MaxB would eventually come home in 2007 on a $2 million bail, but MaxB will end up going to trial and ended up losing. And in 2009, MaxB was sentenced to 75 years in prison for armed robbery, kidnapping, and aggravated assault and murder. But in 2016, he would get his 75 years reduced down to 20 years from winning his appeal. Now, I know y'all been hearing MaxB supposed to been coming home for years and even got his 20 years reduced down to 12 years, but he's been locked up for 15 years. But on the New Jersey prison site, it says he's eligible for parole November 2025. Now, even though MaxB's been gifted with some success, it still feels like he's been cursed. Now, two legendary rappers that could be considered two of the nicest rappers from Harlem is Mase and Big L. Now, even though these two are cool and both members are children of the corn, they didn't always see eye to eye. Now, according to Jim Jones, he said when Mase signed a Bad Boy and blew up, a lot of their peers was mad at Mase because he wasn't really helping out his people and showing love like he could have.
All of them had their little riffs uptown. Cam, Mase, everybody had got into the little back in the day because it was so young with that success, and they started getting money. It was just different. And Mase popped off. Mase was looking like the king of Harlem. He wasn't showing no love. He wasn't giving back to the community. He wasn't picking niggas like L up.
So that's the energy. That's why the energy between everybody in Harlem, like Mase and all with Cam and everybody, it was like once he blew, he forgot where he came from.
Now, Fat Joe would tell a story about Big L coming to get him to run down on Mase in the tunnel while Mase and Big L was beefing, and this is what he said.
L come over to me, right? He like, yo, Crack, I need you. I said, yo, what's up? You know, Big L, my little brother. Yeah. I said, yo, L, what's up? Nah. I got to holler at these niggas, this and this and that. This is a Joker moment, guys. So I follow him, and you know, we ready to catch rest for L, 1,000,000%. He pulls up to Mase and Big L, man.
Oh, man.
And I'm standing with L, and they grew up together, they brothers, and then the L start going off on Mase, and I felt like the biggest backstabber hypocrite in the world. I was hanging out with Mase the night before, and I'm sitting there like this, but you know, L blood, L the bloodline, digging in the crazy. He blood. Man, I remember Mase looked at me. Yo, he never trusted me again in his life.
Now, that's not where things are in between Big L and Mase. Now, according to Mase, it would be a time where Big L tried to get him robbed. Now, according to Mase, he says he's walking from 139th Street in Harlem to 141st Street, and as he got to 141st and 7th Avenue, a Spanish guy run up on him and ball play a sham guard and tell him to give up the rollie before he kill them both.
I walked up 40th on 7th to 41st, and a Spanish could just run out of nowhere like, yo, give it up, give it up.
Now, according to Mase, he said he took the watch off and threw it behind the truck, and him and sham guard ran off.
I'm gonna take this watch off and I'm gonna throw it, because now they're getting clacked it on us. We know he's serious.
Now, supposedly, the guy who was robbing him would go pick up the watch, but before he could get the watch fully in his possession, the cops would come, grab him up, and arrest him. Now, according to Mase, he'll get his Rolex back at the precinct, and he refused to make a statement against the guy who robbed him. Now, I just want to say Mase and Big L was brothers, and they was young at the time, and like Mase said, he didn't really have it like that to put everybody on or give everybody money and do more for people. He just made it look good, you get what I'm saying? And be like that sometimes. You get an opportunity to do your thing, and people just figure you rich, you so rich and you could do more than what you could do. And I believe him, he ain't have it like that. He was doing what he could have did, but you know, Mase probably was stunting on him a little too, but you know how it go, man, when you get your time to shine. Now, in the same episode of It Is What It Is, where Mase was talking about Big L having him robbed, Camron speaks on a situation where Big L brother Big Lee tried to extort him and said he'll speak about it on a later date. But instead of Cam telling the story on another episode, he'll do a freestyle instead to Kanye's Good Morning beat, explaining this situation from his perspective. Now, I can't play the freestyle because of copyright issues, but I'm going to break some of the bars down instead. So let's get into some of the bars. Now, Cam says, when you got on them same nigga try to extort you. That's what Big Lee did. I was not amused. That's Big L, brother, for those that's confused. Old boy video shoot, he came and light a fuse. Don't know if you heard or not, homie, but no more shining shoes. You ain't got the news. I had to back the crew out. Avon was with him. We almost had a shootout. And the Hawk was out. I had to walk him out. This is all facts, so what the Doc talking about? Now, I know y'all not slow, but I'm still going to break these bars down. Anyway, basically what Cam is saying, at his old boy video shoot, when Big Lee first came home from jail, he came to the video shoot, and he must have spoke to Cam and tried to extort him. Now, this whole situation happened in 2002 because old boy came out in 2002 and Big Lee came home in 2002. So he must be told Cam he got to pay him, give him some money, or get him out of some money right there on the spot. And Cam and his people wasn't with it. Now, when Cam says the line, I don't know if you heard or not, homie, but no more shining shoes, what he basically is saying is like, yo, I don't know what you heard, but like we older now. We don't pay homage to y'all like that, and you ain't gonna just be getting over on us like you once did. You know what I mean? Like, we got our weight up now. We ain't playing them games no more with you. That's basically what Cam's saying. Now, basically, when Big L brother first came home in 2002, they saying that he he came home and tried to get right back to it, running down on dudes, trying to extort dudes, and try to take over again like how he had it in the 90s. Now, for those that don't know, you know, Big Lee is from 139th, and he had the whole NFL crew, and they're saying like they were selling drugs, getting money, extorting people, robbing people, and just getting busy. And Big Lee was one of them guys. He was well respected in Harlem. Now, Cam also says the Hawk was out and they almost had a shootout and his people had to walk him out. Now, what people are saying that knew Big Lee is like nobody could walk Big Lee out no park in Harlem. Like Big Lee was that guy. He had people under pressure. It wasn't happening. Now, in Cam's defense, if Big Lee did get walked out that park in Harlem, wherever they was at, it had to be through mutual people. Now, Cam is from 140th, Big Lee is from 139th. They from the same hood. They blocks, you know, right by each other. So they probably had mutual friends. And out of the respect that Big Lee may have had for some of the people at the video shoot is why he left. Now, jump in my comment section. Tell me, do y'all feel like Camron had people walk Big Lee off this video set? Or do you feel like Cam capping a little? He just spicing his rhymes up. Let me know in the comment section. Now, this was 2002 when Big Lee first came home. And, you know, not too long after this, he would get killed. You know what I'm saying? On the same block Big L got killed on. So he wasn't alive for too much longer after this. So Cam probably got off easy, especially if they was going to have a shootout. Things could have got ugly for Cam in Harlem. And I'm asking y'all, like, do y'all really think they was going to have a shootout? And if they was going to have a shootout, it probably wasn't Cam. I'm quite sure it was a video shoot, so he had his whole crew with him, and he had some hitters with him that probably was holding guns, and they was ready to get busy for him. So that could be the case too. Now, as far as Doc is a member of NFL, and he said basically what I'm hearing is nobody's walking Big Lee out no park, but he can't say it's true or not because he was locked up at the time. So tell me what y'all think.
Whips on my fist, houses on my wrist, the budget on my neck, the spouse on my neck.
Now, not too long ago, Cam released a track that was on his Lost Files mixtape, which became Run It Up. Now, on his song, Camron speaks on stopping his young boys from robbing DJ Khaled. Now, his exact bars was, "Old 40, if your G-Pass is not valid, I swear to God I stopped my young boys from robbing Khaled." Now, Camron don't really say when this happened, what time frame this happened, or what year or whatever. But it must be something kind of recent. I don't think it was that far back. And also, if you know about this situation and what year it happened, jump in my comment section and leave the information. Because sometimes I can't find all the information and y'all do it for me. So salute to y'all. Now, this wouldn't be the only famous person Camron claimed to stop from getting robbed in Harlem. Killer also claimed to be the one for stopping another famous entertainer from getting robbed as well. Now, on Camron's Purple Haze 2 album on a song called Fast Lane, Cam tells a story about leaving the club in LA with his homeboy Tito and basically being approached by Suge Knight. Now, Cam says Suge Knight basically told him he owed him money for using Tupac Ambitions as a rider beat and basically tried to extort Cam, and his homie Tito pulled out a knife on Suge. Now, on the same album on a song called Straight Harlem featuring Jim Jones and Shooter 9-3, Cam tells a story about a time he had Stephon Marbury in his hood and he had to beg his OG Reg not to rob Steph for his Rolex. Now, in the previous video of mine on Big L, I explained who Reg was. Now, Reg was affiliated with the whole NFL crew for 139th, and he was cool with Big L and Big Lee. And also, Reg had connections with Black Just and the Supreme Team, and he was the one who supposedly robbed a Junior Mafia member for a chain that may have belonged to Biggie. Now, on his song, Cam says, "I had to beg the big homie Reg not to rob Stephon Marbury. The same year he got drafted, I said, that's my man. He said he got that rollie on and that's my shit. Tell him to leave before I start snatching. You got it, OG. I don't want no problems, big or small. I knew they was wildin' when niggas robbed Biggie Smalls." So basically, I believe Camron and Steph used to play ball together in high school. So he had him in his hood in Harlem somewhere. And basically, OG Reg was like, "Yo, I'm gonna rob your man if he don't get up out of here." And Cam begged him not to rob him, and you know, he got him up out of there. And I'm almost more than sure that when Camron said, "You got it, OG, I don't want no problems, big or small. I knew they was wildin' when they robbed Biggie Smalls," he's referring to the Junior Mafia member being robbed by Reg for the chain that looked similar to the one Biggie was wearing in that episode of Martin. Now, in the DVD era when MaxB was beefing with Jim Jones, MaxB would keep his foot on the gas and basically come at other members of Dipset as well, from Freekey, Zeke, the Hell and Juelz Santana.
I'm riding on everybody at Dipset, man. From Juelz to motherfucking Freekey, whatever the fuck, Zeke.
Now, around this time, Jim Jones and Juelz Santana was hanging around each other a lot, so I guess MaxB felt Juelz was guilty by association. Now, MaxB would jump on a number of DVDs and take shots at Juelz.
Juelz, his fool, he's scared of me anyway. He a little, when I catch that, I might break his fucking jaw.
Now, MaxB will be putting out his mixtape for Public Domain 3, and on the cover, Bigavelli, I have a tombstone with Jim Jones' name and Juelz Santana name as well. Now, according to Dipset member Uncasa, the day they released their Skull Game mixtape, while putting the CD in all the mixtape spots, Juelz and his crew are running the MaxB in Caps USA on 125th Street in Harlem. Now, supposedly, MaxB will get caught slipping by Juelz while he was looking at leather coats, and Juelz will go and approach Max and ask him if he had a problem. And if he did have a problem, Juelz told him that they can handle it right there. But MaxB would tell Juelz Santana that he didn't have a problem with him, and everybody left out of this situation untouched.
And Juelz and the guys ran up in there and whatever. You know, they felt there was a problem. I let them know it wasn't no problem.
Now, it's also said that Juelz ain't let none of his homeboys get involved, and he was also willing to handle this as a one-on-one. So salute to Juelz Santana for not taking advantage of the situation and was willing to handle it like a grown man, because things could have got nasty for MaxB. Now, I'm not gonna lie, if this was Jim Jones that caught MaxB in Caps USA and he was deep, it would have went bad for Max, because Max was popping wild, crazy junk. Max was going in on them. He was violating. And make sure y'all jump in my comment section and tell me how y'all feel.
I look like a boss, I feel like a boss, I taste like a boss. Max Bigavelli.
Now, MaxB wouldn't hold his tongue when it came to calling out the Dips. He'll call out almost every member except for Camron.
You know I'm saying? Cam ain't got nothing to do with this shit. Cam, good friend of mine, man. The Freekey Zeke was on KN0CKEDOut first. Now he on Jim. He's a bum.
Now, it's been a few run-ins with MaxB and French Crew and Dipset, and it's even said that it's been times when things got physical. Now, supposedly, one of the times when things got physical would be when MaxB ran into Dipset member Freekey Zeke at Sin City. Now, I'm going to play some audio from Freekey Zeke explaining the whole situation with him and MaxB in Sin City parking lot. Tell me if y'all think Freekey Zeke capping or he telling the truth.
He said, Maxie had Maxine yet. He's trying to get inside this motherfucking club. I don't know if he know you here, and that's all I heard him say. I was going. I was ready in the parking lot. I was going. He got out the car. That was unusual, so I let him be him. I let him be tough. I let him walk 2 feet, and I hit him with a 5-piece. So, you know, he went to sleep for a long time.
Now, in the DVD era, Loon appeared on the Real Talk DVD where he aired out fellow Harlem rappers Mase, Camron, and Jim Jones, stating that they were just rappers and they didn't really live the lifestyle they were promoting in their music. After this DVD was released with Loon spilling his feelings about some of his peers from Harlem, this would start a back and forth with mainly Loon and Jim Jones and a few other members of Dipset.
Jim Jones might have took his shit and flipped it and turned it to some whole other gang banging bullshit. That wasn't what the Harlem Diplomats was about.
Loon and Jim Jones would get on DVDs like Sub-Zero and trade jabs with one another. This would eventually lead to Loon having problems with other Dipset members J.R. Ryder and 40 Cal, who Loon once had a relationship with. Now, according to Loon, he says he actually was the first person to help 40 Cal record around 15 songs in the studio, but due to Loon problems with Dipset at this time, Loon and 40 Cal would fall out and eventually have an altercation that was well documented in the DVD era. Now, supposedly, Loon seen 40 Cal in a barbershop that they both went to in Harlem. Now, while 40 Cal is sitting down getting the shape up, Loon grabs a shovel and start to hit 40 Cal with it. But 40 Cal doesn't remember the situation going that way. So this is an article from 40 Cal with hiphopdx.com explaining the whole situation with him and Loon inside the barbershop. I'm going to tell y'all the real story because I'm a real dude. I'm in a barber shop and me and Loon has the same barber. He's from the hood prior to this incident. I'm about to explain. I ain't seen Loon in like 2 years. I heard he moved to Atlanta or something. So I'm getting my hair lined up or whatever by the barber. Here comes Loon walking in and he talks to some of the barbers. They all cool. It's like the show to shop. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody know each other and all that. Just cool. I'm getting my cut and Loon comes in and says my name like in a joking way. Like, yo, 40. Like, he's saying what up to me. I said nothing. I continue getting my cut. He's mad with a couple people in back of me. I don't know, they talking or whatever. Loon is in back of them. He grabs a shovel from the closet and out of nowhere he swings while I'm getting lined up and hits me in the shoulder. So I get up looking at him and he swings, but I block it with my arm and snuff him. He dropped the shovel and I threw him in the chairs. He's under me because I threw him in the chairs. He tries to pick me up. He almost picks me up, but I snuff him again, so he dropped me. He falls off me, then dudes break it up. I tell Loon, let's take it outside. Let's fight again. Like, you know, let's get it over with. You got something on your chest? Loon grabs the shovel again. I say, you can't fight without the shovel? This guy drops the shovel and go runs and jump in some little hoopty. I didn't start laughing. I'm still mad at what's going on. I just go finish getting my lineup and call a few of my guys and call it a day. He wasn't nowhere to be found for the day. That's the story. I mean, if a dude want to get points off that because he mad at Jimmy, so he try to get at me and try to get a point, he get nothing. He lost points. I heard he broke his pinky after the whole incident. He got a few marks on his face or something from a couple jabs I gave him. Me, there's nothing wrong with me. Like, it's verified. I done took a few pictures. I'm about to make another video. I might make another mixtape called on Beat Me in My Head Volume 1. I'll see him when I see him. It's nothing, you dig? Now, after the whole altercation with Loon and 40 Cal, they both would get on hip-hop DVDs and talk about the situation. Now, actually, after this whole altercation, too, they were on Hot 97 live on air speaking about the situation with DJ Envy and Miss Jones.
I got up, snuffed him up, threw him in the chairs. He ran, broke his feet. Dude sound like Steven Seagal in every statement he makes.
Now, after they were on air at Hot 97, 40 Cal would drop a diss record called Rockabye Baby, Getting That Loon. Now, after the whole back and forth live on Hot 97 with Loon and 40 Cal, and after 40 Cal put out his diss record towards Loon, when Loon was on these underground hip-hop DVDs and they asked him about the fight with 40 Cal, he had kind of shy away from the question and act like it never happened. He was looking at it from a perspective as like he don't have a squeaky clean record, and what happens in the streets is stay in the street.
And dog, stop making all these statements talking about hit you with a shovel and did all this shit to you, B. I ain't do nothing to you.
Now, even though Loon kind of stopped talking about these street situations on these hip-hop DVDs, he would still put out a mixtape for the Wizard of Harlem, which was like a mixtape album. And on this mixtape album, he had a diss record for Jim Jones called Jimmy. Now, on that same mixtape, the outro was actually him and 40 Cal at Hot 97 speaking about their fight that they had in the barbershop. Now, on November 22nd, 2011, Loon was arrested while on a trip to Brussels. He was extradited back to the U.S. in May 2012 and sentenced to 14 years on July 2013 for conspiracy with intent to traffic 1 or more kilos of heroin. Due to the COVID pandemic, Loon was granted an early release on July 29th, 2020. Now, Loon is currently following his Muslim beliefs, and he's currently living his life as a righteous, God-fearing man. So shout out to Loon.